Welcome to Aedis University, and the first in a series of 4 modules entitled Educational Planning for the 21st Century and Beyond. Please note this presentation is for Aedis internal use only. The agenda for this presentation is an overview of the 4 modules, an overview of the 3 objectives, and then feedback. The purpose of these educational planning modules is to expand our knowledge of the Aedis educational planning process and tools to ensure our work creates a positive, lasting impact. These are the 4 modules of educational planning for the 21st century and beyond. Each module is designed to equip you with practical tools you can use on your projects today. In this module, we focus on how to integrate culture, curriculum, and physical spaces. Module 2 is how to design with the primordial spaces. In Module 3, we harness the power of nature with biophilic design. And in Module 4, we explore how to use design thinking to solve problems and empower stakeholders to take ownership of their design solutions and advocate for them. Our first objective in this module is to understand the critical role that Aedis educational planning process and tools plays in delivering a positive, lasting impact to our clients. Our second objective is to develop a shared understanding of the design strategies found at the intersections between culture, curriculum, and physical space. In Objective 3, teams engage in a hands-on activity to identify design concepts and design solutions at the center of the culture, curriculum, and physical spaces Venn diagram. We begin by defining educational planning. For this, we look to the Association for Learning Environments, also known as A4LE. The A4LE's sole mission is to improve the places where children learn. First established in 1921 as the National Council on Schoolhouse Construction, it became the Council of Educational Facilities Planners International in 1971 and took its current name in 2015. The A4LE certifies educational planners called ALEPs, and it does this in 2 ways, through a portfolio review and interview, or through a rigorous year-long online program called the Advanced Academy, offered through San Diego State University. These are the core competencies of an ALEP. In this module, we are focusing on the role of educational planning during the pre-design and programming phase. Educational planning does not begin here, though. It begins with our marketing, messaging, and how Aedis is perceived by our prospective and existing clients. It continues all the way through a project to post-occupancy, educational commissioning, and marketing for the next project. It's important to note that some states, counties, and school districts across the U.S. already require an ALEP listed on the team when responding to an RFP or an RFQ. Moving on to Objective 2. The first step in the Aedis educational visioning and community stakeholder engagement process is to understand that many of our clients are operating in silos. The first silo is the school district's culture. This is what we find on the district's website in their strategic vision, mission, and core values, often created by the Board of Education and/or the superintendent. The second silo is curriculum, the purview of teachers and, in some cases, the state or federal government. And the third silo is the physical spaces, often controlled by a facilities director and maintenance and operations staff. Aedis educational planning identifies these 3 silos in order to integrate them. The role of educational planning is to discover the community-based foundational vision, one that will form the basis of the design of their learning environments and deliver a positive, lasting impact. If you are viewing this video with a team, this is the team activity you'll be engaging in after the presentation. Each team will have a facilitator and 3 to 4 members who will investigate the culture, curriculum, and physical spaces of a prospective school district and school client assigned to you. Once your team has completed their research, you will together create a vision board and concept statement that describes how you will achieve positive, lasting impact for this client. This presentation is designed to prepare you for the team activity. To begin with, you'll be asked to define school district culture. Dr. Kemp Peterson defines school culture as a set of norms, values, beliefs, rituals, ceremonies, and symbols that make up the persona of a school. For instance, a school district might value exploration, resilience, or teamwork. A quick way to get a sense of the culture is to check out the strategic plan, vision and mission, and core values, usually found on the district website. The next piece of information you'll gather is the curriculum of the school. The 4 C's are considered 21st century skills and form the basis of much of the curriculum being taught in schools today. The goal of 21st century curriculum is to teach students communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. You may also discover other types of curriculum being taught by the school. For instance, the Campbell School of Innovation, the Charter School of Morgan Hill, and the Steindorf STEAM School are all K-8 schools. However, each uses a different set of curriculum and has a slightly different philosophy of instructional delivery. Bear in mind that the same curriculum can be delivered in many ways. Science can be taught via a textbook and a lecture, or through hands-on experimentation, or a combination of both. And finally, we have the physical spaces component. The physical spaces of our educational environments are the indoor and outdoor places that support a school's culture and curriculum. I'm going to very quickly give you a taste of our typical kickoff stakeholder engagement workshop that focuses on the strategies at each intersection of culture, curriculum, and physical spaces, ultimately resulting in a set of design guidelines at the center of the Venn diagram, which forms the basis of design moving forward. We ask what kind of curriculum might support a positive school culture. We show some images depicting students engaged in mindfulness practice and an example of a global culture event. We identify socio-emotional learning, SEL, and global competency as examples of curriculum that is very much focused on culture. Next, we invite clients to consider strategies at the intersection of culture and physical spaces. How would you describe the image on the left? Does this hallway look like it was designed with a positive culture in mind? How would you describe the image on the right? In this way, we introduce biophilia, love of nature, and biophilic design strategies. The design inspiration for the image on the right can be said to be nature. By emphasizing natural daylight, using the colors and materials of nature, we know intuitively that this space supports a positive school culture. To create nature-inspired physical environments, we can use these 14 patterns of biophilic design. Nature in the space patterns, natural analogs, and nature of the space patterns. In Module 3, we dive more deeply into biophilic design, and you will have the opportunity to conduct a biophilic design assessment of a project and develop a toolkit of design solutions that harness the power of nature to deliver positive, lasting impact. If we create physical spaces using biophilic design strategies for outdoor and indoor teaching and learning, we can rest assured that our physical spaces will promote a positive culture. And finally, we look at the intersection between curriculum and physical spaces. We talk about how the physical spaces we occupy send messages to students, teachers, and administrators about what kinds of behaviors are appropriate within them. The image on the left conveys the message to sit and pay attention. The image on the right conveys the message to gather in a small group and create. It says, let's build something together. These physical space designs are matched up to the type of curriculum being taught. To create a common vocabulary with our clients on the intersection between physical space and curriculum, we turn to futurist David Thornburg, an education leader, Core Education in New Zealand. In the book From the Campfire to the Holodeck, Dr. Thornburg writes about 4 learning archetypes called primordial spaces that humans have engaged in throughout our history. He suggests that all are necessary to support teaching and learning. Core Education in New Zealand adopted Dr. Thornburg's 4 spaces and added 2 more. This brings us to a total of 6. Caves, where we have historically isolated ourselves to internalize knowledge. Campfires, where we have gathered to share stories. Watering holes, where we share information and news with travelers from outside our village, perhaps gathered at a central source. Life as the context for all learning, real-world problems to solve. The sandpit, where we play and experiment. And the mountaintop, from which we declare our proclamations and deliver our speeches. The language of the primordial spaces empowers our clients to engage with the design of their spaces directly related to the teaching and learning taking place within them. We dive more deeply into designing with the primordial spaces and using the Aedis Primordial Space Assessment Tool in Module 2. Now that we've identified the strategies, socio-emotional learning, global competency, biophilic design, and primordial spaces, we're ready to identify what's at the center. Which brings us to your team activity. Before you dive in, take a moment to set the context. A facilitator has been assigned to your team. The role of this facilitator is to keep the process moving, to create a culture of belonging within your team, and to know that every individual's ideas are welcome, without judgment. All voices matter. If you would like to dig deeper into any of the information presented in this module, please check out these resources. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.